What's up, everybody? Welcome out to the show.
Welcome out to the show.
We started abruptly. As you can see, we weren't even ready. How's everybody doing tonight? Look, if you're just breezing by some live streams and you see us right now, this is the perfect place for you to get away from politics and any of the other BS that's going on right now, because we don't talk about any of that. We're here to have a good time and have fun.
Why? Is there stuff going on right now?
Yeah, you know, just a little bit. Tonight, we're going to do... we said we were going to do this, you know, once a month. We are going to hang out tonight and do some movie clip stuff. And I'm fumbling around a little bit because I got my mouse died immediately as we walked into the show tonight. So
Want me to get you the computer mouse?
no, we were going to do that, but it's you know, well underneath your desk. So it's all good, man. We'll make it happen. Anyway, thank you for hanging out with us tonight, man. We appreciate it. Please, you know, give it a thumbs up real quick and push it out to some other people. Hopefully we can get some people in here. Let us know if we sound okay, look okay, and we'll get rolling, man.
So, before we get into the specific movies, what was the first big movie that you saw that had tattooing in it?
Oh,
like
my God,
real,
dude.
Like real tattooing.
Man, I'm like super unprepared for that question. I can't even think of one off the top of my head. Yeah, I don't know, dude. What about you? Well, you were going to ask me that question, and you weren't prepared for the same question.
I mean,
Come on, dude.
We're just doing it off the top of our heads, man.
Yeah,
I'm thinking, Blood in, Blood Out, not Blood in, Blood Out, American Me. Where
Okay.
there's a scene where the dude's getting tattooed, and he gets
you know, man, like for me, dude, I guess I'm just so used to seeing tattoos, even as a little kid, that it would like to not even think about it. You know what I mean? Because like you asked me that question, and I went completely blank. Thank you for Sarah for the $5 super chat. Much appreciated. Sarah already firing at Will.
So are you happy to be Canadian this week, Sarah?
Yeah, I'm sure she is. Yeah, so I'm gonna turn Justin up a little bit, and we're gonna go.
Yeah, really.
I'm really struggling here. This is no bueno.
I mean, I can get the mouse.
So she said she is out at a friend's birthday dinner right now. Can you guys wish Alexa happy birthday, Alexa?
Happy birthday, Alexa.
Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. You're not really hanging out with us. You're better off having a good time with your friends, enjoying dinner. But we appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know, man, I got spam callers, man. Like, dude, all day. That's all I get. Spam. Yeah, so put out the, you know, episode with I Hate Jason Sweet. You know, didn't really do too well, but it's cool, man. It's documented. And
So the thing about Jason Sweet that I really liked was so there's like a whole generation of West Coast tattooers. Like he mentioned Goldfield. You guys mentioned the guy from the Tattoo Archive, Eldridge.
yeah,
Terry Tweed.
Doc Dog.
What?
Doc Dog.
Yeah. A bunch of these like sort of. When I think of Goldfield, I think of a guy kind of sandwiched in like the 70s to the 2000s, sort
Bert
of.
Rodriguez.
Yeah. So I like that he mentioned Goldfield, and I like that he like copped to the fact that he had a. Can we talk about spoilers?
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, it's already out.
I like the fact that he talked about I got fired because I had a shitty attitude.
Yeah, well, when he said that, man, I was like, you know, when he said that he worked for Tennessee Dave. Now, you know, I had heard Tennessee Dave was hard to work for. So that's why I said, hey, man, you know, you want to fill us in on why you got fired? And, you know, when he said, hey, man, I just had a shitty attitude and I was kind of an asshole, I was like, wow, okay. But then again, man, I mean, you know, if you watch some of his stuff, you know, lately he's been doing a little bit of politics or whatever. But, you know, if you look further back, when he's just talking about shop talk stuff, you know, man, he calls it the way he sees it. And part of that is because he realizes he was an asshole and thought he knew everything when he was a young kid as an apprentice. So he's trying to give you the, hey, man, this isn't going to work out too well for you.
So the other thing I liked that he said was back when he started tattooing and I started tattooing, working in the shop, was a real difference than working out of your kitchen. I mean, like when he said the autoclave was the thing that made us different than the guys tattooing out of their kitchens. And I had that attitude when I bought my first shop. Like, not that working in my shop was a privilege. I wasn't arrogant like that, but I was like working in a shop, any shop.
Just the fact that you were working in a shop and not kitchen magician.
Right. So I had this girl. This girl was working for me. She's a good artist. And she goes, I want to take a 4-day weekend to go to this music festival. I think I hired her, and this was like, I don't know, 6 weeks, 2 months in. I want to take 4 days off. And at the time, the shop was banging. I mean, we were busy because of what was going on with the military and stuff.
Right.
So I was like, I can't really spare you. Like, there's, I think 4 of us or 5 of us at the time, we're putting in 12-hour days. You leave, we're going to be putting in 15-hour days, you know? So she calls in sick the 4 days in a row. Like every day at opening, I get a call from her. She's like, I'm really sick. I'm really sick. And then she shows up after the 4 days. And this goes back to the Tennessee Dave thing is why I'm telling this story. She shows up after the 4 days, and I put her shit next to the door. I'm like, you don't need to work here anymore.
Right.
You obviously have zero respect for working in this shop. You know, just, you know what I mean? And maybe like that was a hard ass. That might be, I can see where people would think that was a hard ass move, but also we're like, yeah.
Yeah, but at the time it was make it or break it because, you know, you were that busy.
Yeah. I mean, we were busy.
So, you know, I guess where I'm going with this whole thing is, you know, hey, he owns up to the fact that, you know, people think he's an asshole. That's the whole reasoning behind the name. But there's also a large group of tattooers that love what he's doing and stand by him. So it's interesting take, man. If you haven't, you know, checked it out, make sure you go ahead and check it out. You know, I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed meeting him. You know, I'd seen him on Instagram a bunch of times, never got to meet him in person, so it was worth it for me. And it's documented now. It's part of our catalog. So, yeah, it didn't do well, but it might later down the road. I'm not even worried about it, man. We got so many more videos coming up.
I'm really looking forward to the Jesse video.
Yeah, so we have 3 more coming up that I'm in the process of editing. Just so you guys that are watching right now, or maybe later, get a heads up. The Jesse Martinick. Sorry, I keep wanting to say Martinick.
It is Martinick, isn't it?
No, it's Martinick.
Martinick?
Will probably be out Thursday. So keep an eye out for that. It's a pretty good one.
So just out of curiosity, because I don't understand how social media works necessarily.
Okay.
So if people were members to the channel, could they get the unedited, unbleeped, raw interview? Or would YouTube? Because I know on Patreon.
Yeah, so if they joined the membership for the channel, and you know, we could definitely do that. Now we have a small amount of people that have joined. You know, a couple of them are in the chat right now.
Because I know that on Patreon, like you can get like really raw footage because you're paying for it. You're volunteering.
Yeah, so you can do that where it's members only, and you could make it a little bit more. I mean, you still have to follow a little bit of guidelines. I think I'd have to look into it, but I'm fairly certain that that's part of the whole purpose of doing the, you know, one of the purposes.
Would you do that?
Absolutely, dude. I would if we had enough people that joined our memberships for our channel, you know, not the first tier, but maybe the second tier and up. I would literally go through my whole catalog. I have every piece of raw footage I ever and just unload. It would just be an extra perk.
Yeah, because I mean, I got to say that for some of the stuff I've seen, the raw footage does kind of, it does add a little bit of flavor.
Yeah, oh yeah. Bill O'Connell with the $5 super chat.
Hey, Bill, sir. What's going on, buddy?
Yeah, man, we could definitely unload some. I will say that Jesse's interview is going to be pretty awesome for a lot of you to see.
Redacted
There
heavily.
are some redacted portions of that I had to cut out. But there's also some very amazing historical content in that video that
Yeah.
you're gonna be like, whoa. And I dug deep on some of the clips, so it should be cool, man. Jesse comes from a long line of tattooers, man. His grandpa, Pat Martinick, his dad, Guy Martinick, Jesse, now running Body Graphics out in Reno, the oldest tattoo shop in Reno. And then now his son, who's also included in the video, that his son is doing tattoos, not the greatest tattoos, but, Jesse's teaching him.
Yeah, Sailor Eddie style, right? Like the way that no.
Yeah, take that back, dude.
Yeah, the way that like Jesse's son is starting the way Sailor Eddie did.
Correct.
That's what I meant.
Yes. But his son loves it, man, and he's trying. That's all that matters.
Yeah, well, he's basically the same age that Eddie was when he started, right?
He's actually a little older than what Eddie started.
Eddie started at what, 12?
He was 11.
11.
Yeah. And I think Jesse's son is 14.
Ah.
But he's been tattooing for a couple years.
Oh, he's long in the tooth then.
So he's already, and Jesse jokingly, makes a statement about that in the video. So you'll have to check it out, man, on Thursday when it comes in. So we talked about doing tattoo movies, which we will do, but I think we're going to keep going with this once a month thing. And this week we decided, last minute, of course, that we were going to do some clips of movies that we really liked that are tattoo oriented. We hope you guys dig them. And if you have one, shout it out in chat. Mike Irons, thank buddy. Much appreciated.
What do you say?
He said, I hope you had a good trip home from Reno.
Huh.
But yeah, so sorry, I lost my train of thought. I'm good. I'm back on track. We decided we were going to bust out some clips of movies that we like that have tattoos in them. Not necessarily people getting tattooed, but there are a couple that we're going to show you today. Some of them are a little off the wall because we were spitballing hardcore here like a half hour ago. We were like, bam, 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 bam. So we got a couple old school ones, a couple new school ones, and a couple that are just dudes tattooed in it that we thought were cool. Fair?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about the first one. And let me go ahead and do my quick move. The first one is John Constantine with Keanu Reeves. Now you're going to see him twice in this as we go through this. This happens to be a clip that I ripped off of somebody else, so thank you. But yeah, we figured that we would just go through some of these and let you guys take a peek. So the first one, Constantine.
Constantine.
I'm going to mute that, but really cool movie. I have seen this movie. It talks about him being, I guess, like an angel where, he's down on earth trying to clean out the...
No, he commits suicide.
Is that what it is?
He commits
You're
suicide.
not supposed to say that word? Damn
Oh.
it, dude. Come on, man.
That's, like, not for nothing, but that is one of the most
I hear you, dude, but...
asinine things ever. But so he commits
Self-unalived. There you go.
Jesus, self-unalived, and because it's a sin, he's doomed to hell.
Right.
And that's why he constantly tries to send demons back.
Right, so I think the main part of this was that tattoo right there, which is, I guess it's supposed to represent, like, angel's wings or something.
A sigil.
Okay. A sigil.
It's a sigil.
And
I only know that because I've done, a lot of people have come in and gotten stuff like that for me.
Okay.
Like it's a sorcery symbol.
Okay. So I thought that was a cool pull, man, because I thought it was a really good movie. This second one I also think is a pretty fantastic movie, and I don't even the movie's Snatch, but we're gonna unmute it. So
8. Mickey O'Neill.
Do you like Dags?
yeah, we can't unmute it because it's got the lady talking over it. But
Do you like Dags?
This
on a
is a
dag.
really good movie, man. I have to say that for movie tattoos, pretty realistic looking. Nothing, crazy out of whack where you're like, holy crap, man, this is, some spectacular stuff. I mean, that looks like a typical dude that would be like a Street Fighter type. Great movie if you haven't seen it.
So the first time you saw that movie,
Yeah.
before it had subtitles, did you understand anything that the Pikey said? Like anything?
So let me say something, man. And you might call BS on this.
All right.
So hold on, let me cue up this next movie so this way we got it ready to roll. I happened to be at the time when that movie came out. I was going back and forth to Scotland and London for work. And
As people do.
and
That's a pretty good job. I'm zipping back and forth between Scotland and London for work.
yeah. And I also used to have to get up at like 3:00 in the morning because they're 5 hours ahead of me to do conference calls with the people from Scotland.
Nice.
And two of the ladies that were on that conference call were like very far northern Scotland. So their accent is grimy. And it would be 3:00 in the morning. And like they would start nice and casual, kind of soft tone because they knew I was up early. And then they would start getting into it. And it was just like, I'd be like, whoa, 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 whoa. You guys got to slow down because they talk so fast and their Scottish accent is so thick that it was like it kind of was blending together. So I got tuned into hearing Cockney, Scottish, proper British accents during that time frame, and I had no problem.
Nice.
I had no problem watching.
I did not understand a word.
I had no problem
What they
watching
said.
Peaky Blinders.
Oh, yeah, Peaky Blinders.
You know what I mean? But there's people out there that had a hard time watching Peaky Blinders because of the accent. I didn't have a problem with that. Now, the other thing that I don't understand, and this still blows my mind, because Lau Hardy still talks like this, or he can.
Cockney?
He can do full tilt Cockney, where he's like, your legs is pegs and all this stuff, man, and like he can rip it. And that to me blows my mind because that's like you would have to be brought up in that to understand that, dude, because it's so many different things mean different things. There's also a dude that I watch on YouTube. It's called London Loaded, and it's an old Cockney dude who just randles around. He's like a street dude. You know what I'm talking about? Like Cray Brothers kind of street dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just randles around. He doesn't show his face. You'll catch him in a mirror or something every once in a while. And he goes to different places for breakfast or lunch. Like he did this whole spiel about trying to find the cheapest fry up in England. And he would go to all these pubs and stuff. And then like as it's done, I'll talk, oh, that was a great, grub, blah, blah, blah. I hammered that down. Like he's throwing all these like British sayings and stuff in. And then he'll be like, all right, let's get some culture. And he'll go to a fancy, like a church to show, oh, wow, this is great. I'm not real religious, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Or he'll go, oh, let's go check out this museum. And then he went to the one where they did like the Banksy exhibit. And he was like, oh, but so even to understand him, I could see where people would have a hard time. So I don't know. Ironically enough, that brings up a point that I wanted to share with you all. Here I am sitting here going, oh, man, I understand the British slang. And Tom, are you in the chat? I'm pretty sure I saw that you were in chat. Let me double check. And it's nice to see you, Tom. Actually, Stephen Street's in here too, so he would know. So last night, it was like 10 o'clock-ish, and I got an alert. So I get an alert sometimes. It doesn't always work when somebody makes a comment on a video. And the dude is from the UK. And he was like, yo, this channel is the dog's bollocks.
The dog's balls.
And I'm like, I'm not thinking. I'm just like, wow, okay. In America, I would be like, oh, that's dog shit. Meaning that it sucks.
No, it's the dog. Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, man, sorry you didn't like it. Hopefully we'll post something later that you like. So my wife goes, well, hold on a minute. And she Googles it. And she's like, dude, that's actually like, he thinks it's awesome. You know what I mean? Like he gave the whole, and I'm like, So now I'm waiting for the dude to reply back to me to see what he says, dude. But I was like, hey, what the hell? I'm like, all right, man. He thought it sucked. It's cool. But yeah, so I'm all bragging about understanding all that shit, and then that happens to me last night. So the irony of that. We got a bunch of people hanging out with us. I don't know if Sarah still is or not. Hopefully she's not. Hopefully she's enjoying her dinner with happy birthday, Alexis. Chris Hawkins hanging out. Moderator Nikki. Bill O'Connell. Stephen Street. Tom is in here. Cool. What's up, Tom? Fat Cracker. What's up from Shake City? And Rooster hanging out. Mike Irons. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Luz. And that's it. Dogs Bollocks is good. There you go. Stephen Street just gave me the nod, man. All right. So I did all right then, man. Dude. Going to the dogs is bad. All right. See, man, I got to catch up on all that stuff, dude. I don't get it.
She's like a dag.
Yeah.
Dag.
But yeah, so the next movie that we got lined up is a movie called The Illustrated Man.
Which is based on a Ray Bradbury book.
What's the book about?
So the story is that these two guys are hoboing, and they meet, and in the book there, I think they're around a campfire, and as the young guy stares into the older guy's tattoo, each tattoo, Bradbury tells a story.
Okay.
But at the end, the kid sees the old man killing him in his tattoos. So he tries to kill the tattooed guy, and the tattooed guy ends up killing him because he, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Or do I say unaliving? He tries to the young guy tries to unalive the tattooed guy.
Okay.
Come on, man. Come on, YouTube.
The next movie that we got is I just deleted it, so we'll go to the next one. The next one is probably one of my favorite newer movies, and I might be a little partial for this, but I have my own reasons, and I guess I probably shouldn't get into that, but John Wick, boom. Now, before anybody gets offended, it has nothing to do with the Latin thing on top why I appreciate the movie. I know somebody's gonna.
Why? What's that mean?
It's starting to be used by some hate group or something, from what I understand. I didn't know that. I dig the rest of the tattoos and whatnot.
Buck likes the shower scene in John Wick.
Yeah. Nah, so you can see here, man. Whoever did these, I think did a really, this isn't the best example of this movie or clip, but they look real, man.
They do look real.
I mean, those look like solid tattoos. I think it was a great movie. All right, so I'm Russian, and there's this whole scene where he has to make the deal with the lady that runs the Russian orphanage. Jesus Christ, man.
Same with me,
blah,
man.
Blah, 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 blah. Like I got marbles in my mouth. But dude, I thought that movie, man, that whole like backstory of him being, apparently he worked for, I guess, like the Russian mob or whatever.
So I personally think that as far as like tattooed guys and tattooed looks, like the heavily tattooed hands and throat done in the suit, I think that looks lethal. That looks tough, man.
Yeah.
Like if you're dressed up like real nice and you're still visibly tattooed, that's cool.
I have to tell you, man, I wish I had the opportunity to wear, like good clothes like that. Because I agree with you. I think it is a good look. I just, I can't, man. I can't wear those kind of clothes as a fat person.
I mean, Mahoney's famous for that, right?
Yeah.
Like
he's man, that dude is one of the smoothest cats out on the planet. That whole thing with him, and that look is definitely pretty awesome, man. So the next movie, and by the way, while we're going over these guys, if you got, movies that you think are cool tattoo movies, let us know, man. We'll try to pull them up. I'm fumbling here without a mouse, but I'm doing my best. The next movie is a pretty old school flick, man, but it was definitely a cool pull by one of our listeners here, Mike.
I knew about this movie too.
Yeah, but I think I know of the movie. I don't remember this part, but
H-A-T-E. It was with this left hand that old brother Cain struck the blow that laid his brother low. L-O-V-E. You see these fingers, dear hearts? These fingers has veins that run straight to the soul of man. The right hand, friends, the hand of love.
So it's the Night of the Hunter, and you were saying it's about a preacher
Yes.
who rolls into town mysteriously,
And I think he's also a killer.
okay, and he has love and hate tattooed on his knuckles.
So, and there's the really iconic moment from the movie where he comes to a house and he puts his hand on the fence post, and I think you see love on his knuckles, and of course to us now that's nothing, right? But I mean, when that movie was made, having your fingers tattooed, I mean that was
hardcore, man.
That was really hardcore. You know what movie? Oh, that reminds me. You know what movie we forgot to talk about?
What's that?
Love is a Bullet. Because I just thought about facial tattoos, like having his knuckle tattoos in that movie.
Right.
Was like having facial tattoos now.
Okay.
But I thought of Love is a Bullet because, I mean, they were all really tattooed in that movie.
So this one, man, I definitely
Raising Arizona.
Oh yeah, with the
Randall Tex Cobb.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I totally forgot about that one. That's a good pull too. This one is one of those ones that I actually thought about when I was thinking this, just because it's a funny scene.
The Hangover.
Yeah, we kind of discussed that last time, but it was in the top 10 list that I had that I mysteriously.
What's going on here?
This is dude, where's my car?
Dude, you got a tattoo! So did you, dude? No. Oh. Dude, what does my tattoo say? Sweet! What about mine? Dude, what does mine say? Sweet! What about mine? Dude, what does mine say? Sweet! What about mine? Dude, what does mine say? Sweet! What about mine? Dude, what does mine say?
So there's probably a bunch of people out there that think that that's what me and Justin sound like on a regular basis, but that wouldn't be true.
What now?
I said that there's probably people out there that think that that's how we talk on a regular basis, but that wouldn't be true. Because I say dude all the time.
Dude.
Yeah, I'm.
But there's a difference between how we say dude and how, like, Southern California.
Our moderator, Nikki, actually picked that one out. Yeah, we say it differently than... I have a bad habit of doing it to the point where I call my mom. My mom gets kind of pissed. She doesn't anymore, but she did. I have a bad habit of calling females dude. And I don't remember if I told this story. Did I tell this story last week about me going in the wrong bathroom?
Yes.
Okay.
Speaking of moms, is Father's Day an international holiday, or is that just American?
If you're a dad out there, happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
I don't know if it's international or
Welcome
not.
to the most thankless job on the planet, but the most rewarding job on the planet.
Well, I don't have any kids that I know of, so far I don't have to partake in that.
Have you ever seen the Chris Rock stand up about how women, children, and pets are loved unconditionally, but men are absolutely not loved unconditionally? It's so good, man.
Well, I see all the jokes all the time about Father's Day getting underwear and stuff like that, and makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's like Veterans Day. Like on Veterans Day, I sort of feel like you should be a veteran.
Yeah, so
to have the day off.
Stephen Street said Father's Day here, so that's the UK. Now the next one is awesome movie, man, and we're gonna let this one roll. So let me just get it all queued up for
There's
y'all.
two kinds of people that say cheddar.
To me, man, this is one of my favorite. I would say, I guess, tattoo scenes or whatever. And then we're gonna actually break down the tattoo. We're gonna give you a little extra, so we just get it all queued up and ready to go.
So when I saw this movie the first time, I was really surprised at how good this movie was.
Yeah. So let's bust this out.
Agent Mansell, FBI. I'm looking for old.
What?
Your ID is a badge. Expired by about 20 years.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that ain't you in the photo.
That gives you definitely the old
So-
school shop feel.
Who are you? I'm just a man who's looking for someone. Yeah, well, you probably shouldn't flash cheese like that around here, bro. There are 3 times.
I'm pretty sure that's Jason Momoa in the back as well. In the beyond over his left shoulder. Pretty sure that's it. I would have to look it up, man, but I'm pretty sure it is.
Types of people who, as you say, flash cheese. People who don't know any better, people who are seeking to intimidate, and people like me who wish with every fiber of their being that.
Yeah, that's definitely him, bro.
I'm saying no.
We need to settle this. That is, you sure about that? That definitely looks like him. I don't know. Tell me in chat, guys. What do you think? Does that look like him?
That someone would try to take it from them.
So, just so you know, possibility that people can't see it, the dude has the 7 of spades and 2 of diamonds on his wrist. We'll talk about that tattoo in a second.
Thank you for your service. You too, old timer.
So,
That is so brilliant.
that dude has at least 20 locks on his door.
That is so brilliant.
So they don't really get into the significance of the tattoo in the movie. Again, it's the 7 of spades, 2 of diamonds. Now, there's 2 theories of thought behind the tattoo. There's probably more, and one of them I don't know about, so that would be something I would have to look up. But the first one is when you are dealt 7 and 2 in Texas Hold'em, it is the worst combination of cards you can possibly have in your hand. Because if you have both of them, and they're unsuited, you basically can't get any hand unless pairs flop. It's if you have both of those cards, you're the furthest away from getting a straight or a low end or high end because of that. So there's the first theory. The second theory is that in tarot, the spade is the sign of unalived,
The sword.
aggression, violence. The 2 of diamonds is the card for like prosperity, wealth. You're gonna earn money. So they were saying that the theory is because he had those cards on there, he's obviously a hired unaliver that's being paid or worked in that trade at some point.
The impression that I got from the movie, right, was that was some kind of
Military
unit.
So that's the third. And
yeah.
So initially when I saw the movie, that's what I thought. Because
unit designation.
Like when the guys had the 802nd Airborne or whatever, there were different tattoos or whatever that they could get.
Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon, another tattoo reference in a movie.
I don't remember.
Where when they burned down, can we say hooker?
Sure.
When they burned down the hooker's
It's already
house.
late. You already said it. So.
And the little kid's like, he was painted. He was painted. And he tells Mel, he describes the tattoo to Mel Gibson. And Mel Gibson says that that's a special forces tattoo or something like that.
Okay.
I'm really like that. I got to say that's one of my favorite parts of the podcast today is remembering
some of the movies
at random.
Yeah, so Bill O'Connell said Buck Strangeland. My girlfriend and I were extras in that movie in Denver, Colorado, I think in 1996, only in it for a second.
Isn't that movie the one about Bill O'Connell being in an extra?
I don't know.
I was trying to be funny. Like the movie is about Bill being in the movie and not about Dee Snider.
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to give you.
So yes, it is.
I was trying to give you props, man.
Yeah, and here I am just dropping it. And then Chris Hawkins said Dead Man's Hand, and he said, sorry, that's aces and eights. Yeah.
Ace, yeah.
So there is that possibility of that third hand or the third theory being correct that I'm not 100% sure about. So
you know about the death cards in Vietnam?
No, go ahead.
So they actually show it in Apocalypse Now. After they would have a battle, some companies
would throw like ace of spades.
No, they would have decks of cards made up with their unit insignia.
Oh, okay.
Just a regular deck of cards, but with their unit insignia, and they would tuck them into the bodies of the VC
to
say,
"Hey, we were here."
Yeah, you know who killed them.
Their calling card.
Yeah,
interesting. I mean, I don't know, man. I think that I wish they kind of would have went into a little bit more detail on that movie Nobody and explained, you know, but maybe that was one of their cool little Easter eggs that they threw in there and didn't feel they needed to explain it. I mean, it happens a lot in movies. So the next one was actually your suggestion. You really like this movie. I'm a huge fan of it. I think that Ryan Reynolds is pretty goddamn funny. So Deadpool.
So the reason I like this scene in Deadpool is that I think the Japanese actors in this scene are actually tattooed.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because I mean, their tattoos are they're either tattooed or they had a really authentic artistic designer on the film.
Right. Now, should we also, obviously, I probably shouldn't share any more of that, just in case. Yeah, I mean, I think that the actors are definitely legit. They look it anyway.
Doesn't Fat Cracker live in L.A.?
Yeah.
Or does he live in New York?
He lives in L.A.
So, how many tattooers do you know from LA that actually design tattoos for movies? That's what I'm asking him.
Okay.
I mean, because that's like what do you call it? I mean, obviously now that's like a legitimate
business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least like a consulting gig, right?
Yeah. Well, so we were thinking about movies, and you came up with
Blood In, Blood Out.
Yeah, which you thought it was Gil Monty that did.
So Gil Monty is in the movie,
right?
And Danny Trejo is in the movie. But what I read on Google was that Mark Mahoney actually designed the tattoo work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have that clip too as well. So it was Blood In, Blood Out, right? And we actually have the scene where the dude is getting the tattoo in the kitchen. So we're going to mute that just so hopefully maybe I can skate away from the... So here he's actually getting the old hand pokey in the kitchen. But that's pretty cool, though, that Mahoney had a part in that, you know, designing the tattoos and stuff. I wanted to say that there was somebody famous that had parts in the, Sons of Anarchy, too, for their tattoos, and I don't remember who it is off the top of my head.
I know that Freddie Corbin is in an episode.
Okay, so maybe he is one of the ones that, you know.
The thing I like about the scene from Blood In, Blood Out is that it reminds me of a thing from Philly, where like back in the day, people from Kensington would get 4 dots,
Okay.
a dot on each of their fingers, just below their knuckles, and they were the Kensington dots.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like a neighbor. Like if you
Don't look up Kensington in Philadelphia, folks.
yeah
Do yourself a favor.
yeah
Don't.
they had another name for the dots, but yeah.
Yeah. So our moderator Nikki said that she had heard that Nobody 2 is coming out, so maybe they'll get into that. And Chris just said there is. I just watched the trailer.
Taboo, the TV show Taboo with Tom Hardy. He's all linked up.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And
Fat Cracker said he's from LA, and there are a lot. Mike Irons said The Outsider.
The Outsider.
Yeah.
Oh, the HBO show?
I don't know.
And what's his name? Stephen Graham. Is it Stephen Graham, the English actor that he plays in? Well, he played in all kinds of stuff. In Taboo, he has the compass on his head with the map.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Fat Cracker said I shot a few tests of 8mm and 16mm for a movie that I'm trying to get funded. Well,
dude, yeah.
That gets out. Stephen Street said Dusk Till Dawn was Gilmani's on Clooney, that whole Black Tribal, which is huge, man. Nikki, the moderator, said Sons of Anarchy, there's a scene in a tattoo shop with the actual tattoo shop owner.
Yeah, it's Freddie Corbin.
Then there's, Baba. He Vintage Tattoo out in L.A. They used his shop for commercials and also the TV show Shameless.
What did Tennessee Dave say in the Coke commercial? Like he was just like, yeah.
And then they cut him a check for like $25,000 because all he said was yeah. Which I'll have that clip in my episode, the history episode that I'm going to do on Tennessee Dave. I actually have Baba is doing some side work for me, getting some interviews with his wife and kid. So we'll have some insider, clips and stuff like that for Tennessee Dave. I really wanted to make sure I do a solid one for him because of the people that I'm friends with that were very fond of him and or friends with him. Baba being one of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tiger Rob, who works for Jesse now. He actually worked for Tennessee Dave for a while. And then, Greg James, Tennessee Dave's his brother. Greg is still alive. So I'd be honored for him to see it and approve of it. So that'd be kind of cool. The movie Tattoo with Bruce Dern, I think, around 1980. We talked about that last week, right? Or last time we did this. Stephen Treat said crazy film. So Mike Irons just said that Yakuza. And ironically enough,
we have footage.
I have a clip of that. So let me get that fired up for y'all. Man, this would be so much easier with the freaking real mouse. So I have a wireless mouse that I always use for this show. And when I went through the airport, it cooked it. So I'm just gonna mute this real quick because it's.
Oh no! Let's listen to the.
No.
Let's listen to the.
No. So this is basically the scene, one of the scenes out of the movie where they're sitting around there. What do the Japanese call those tables where you got to sit down? Table. But it's got a full scene of the Yakuza stuff, and we'll go ahead and play the music for you guys. I'll rewind. I'm trying not to show that stuff, man. Never mind. That's enough of that. Anyway, so yeah, we had Yakuza on our list.
So definitely honorable mention again for, not necessarily for the entire movie, but the scene where the Yakuza attacked the funeral in Wolverine Origin. Their work is really nice too.
Fat Cracker said he used to tattoo Featherwoods back in the 80s, but changed his spirit and heart. And now he's in that. So he's talking about the movie that he's trying to get done. Out the Dog with Justin Timberlake, Frankie Nuts Bellenbacher has Chinese tattoos, though there was a mistake in the translation, resulting in the characters spelling ice skating. Interesting. See, man, getting all kinds of tidbits here. Stephen Treat said, watched it as a child, not a great idea. And then Fat Cracker said Michelle Miles has rented out Daredevil to movies and television production companies. Yeah, I mean, it sounds to me like that's a pretty lucrative business, man. If you're in those areas, I mean, you know, like around here, they're not shooting any movies.
I thought about pursuing work at one point as like a tattooed extra.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Like gang member / there's definitely a certain profile I fit, biker.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do it, man, because I don't really fit into any type of look.
Well, I mean, yeah, you do. If I was making a movie,
I look like average Joe guy.
If I was making a movie about a motorcycle club, you would be an extra in the movie.
No.
All right.
No, I look like an average dude.
Yeah, so do I.
But yeah, man, you know, there's tons of great movies out there, and I'm still kind of floored about the whole question you asked me because I really can't think of a first right off the bat movie where I remember seeing tattoos in a movie for the first time. I'm not a real big movie person though. You're more of a movie person.
I love
than
movies. Yeah. Speaking of movies,
I really don't.
Sinners was banging.
I don't really enjoy going into the movies to watch a movie.
Oh, I'll go to a movie by myself.
Well, part of the problem is that this might have something to do with where we live. But like I can't, dude. If I'm watching a movie and you start talking, I will unapologetic. I can't talk, man. I will tell you to shut the fuck up. I can't even say the word I wanted to say because I'm fumbling
Unapologetically.
Thank you, sir. Like
so,
you know. I went to see Ted. That might have been the last movie I saw. And there was people talking. As I was getting ready to say, hey, you want to shut the hell up so I could watch the movie? A full tilt brawl broke out. Cops, the whole...
Nice.
I'm just sitting there with my popcorn and me and my wife, and I'm like, wow. So then I walked out, and the manager was coming by, and I said, hey, man, I didn't even get to see the movie, man. Can I have my money back? And the guy was like, gonna not give me my money back. And I'm like, you're effing kidding me right now, right? Like, there's cops in there arresting people. And they wound up giving me my money back.
So I went to see a movie recently with my daughter, and the movie cut out for like 5 minutes. Yeah. And there wasn't that many people in the theater, so I had to go out and say, yo, your movie cut out.
Yeah, man, I would have been like, dude, either restart it or give me my money back.
So as I'm leaving, I'm like, can I get some free passes? And the same thing, the manager's like, well, we restarted the movie. It's not really common practice to give free passes in a situation like that. And I was like, dude, you know what else isn't common practice? Having to get up out of my seat in the middle of a movie I'm enjoying to come tell you to do your job.
Yeah.
And my 12-year-old, because she, on the one hand, she thinks it's really cool when I get like a little loud with people. Mm-hmm. And on the other hand, she's completely mortified.
Yeah, well, she doesn't want to get embarrassed. She's a young kid. But I don't know, man. I'd rather sit at home and on my own couch, watch a movie, could pause it if I got to take a leak, grab something to drink. You know what I mean? Like, it's just more enjoyable for me.
So say like a big Marvel movie, right?
I'm not into it.
But just as an example, lots of explosion, lots of special effects.
Right.
I want to see those in the theater.
Okay.
I want to get, and I'm not even like an IMAX guy. Mm-hmm. But I want to see like the big sound.
I will say that there is a movie that I just watched that I wished I would have seen it in the movies.
What?
And it was the Beyond Led Zeppelin, which I saw on Netflix.
Yeah.
Now that probably to me would have been awesome to see in the movies because then you would have had like this giant, sound system and it would have been kind of cool. I still stand by my argument with you that Led Zeppelin live was just not that good.
No, they weren't. I never argued.
I thought you said to me once, you were like, "What are you kidding me, dude?"
No,
They were horrible live.
yeah,
Like they were never ever held it together.
the song remains the same. It's not a good movie.
No, it's just they're all over the place, man. And that drives me nuts too. Like when I go see a band, dude, I want you to play it like I heard it for the first time.
So you know who's
Not your rendition that you decide. This today I want to make a country version of the greatest song ever written.
So I like Everclear, and my friend Jen really liked Everclear.
Okay.
So we went to see Everclear.
And they're horrible live.
And the singer, Art Alexis, must use autotune because he cannot sing live at all. I mean, musically they were tight, but yeah, his singing voice was.
So there used to be a saying back in the day, and this is pre-autotune days, that if you could play a song live acoustically, that was a good song. So it was basically their way of saying how much they doctored up a song to clean it up.
Have you ever? Well, obviously you have.
There's tons of punk bands that you listen to their album, and most of the time their albums are kind of iffy to begin with, and then you go see them live, and you're like, not
better.
No.
Yeah,
dude, it's not even close.
I love seeing punk shows live. I love the energy.
Well, that's cool. And I'm not dissing that part of it. I'm just saying, like, you're not going to hear, like, dude, you go to see Pink Floyd, that shit is spot on, dude. Spot on. You go to see Tool, spot on. You go to see Rush, which you're not going to see Rush anymore, but.
Dude, I'd really like to go to a Tool concert.
No.
And then.
Well, you're not going to go with me, dude.
And then.
You can go by yourself.
I'm just not. I was going to say
you're not sitting near me.
I'd like to go to a Tool concert and then not go, but
yeah, because you're not gonna ruin the concert for me with your complaining.
I'm just not musically mature.
The other part, well, that could be true.
It absolutely is.
The other part of that though is, coming from being a sound guy, I put myself in a position to do my best to mimic the quality that you heard on a CD, and then you're gonna dick around and decide that you're gonna make your hot tune, whatever, right? I don't know, and you're like, oh, let's make it a jazz fusion.
Yeah, like the one time I saw Suicidal Tendencies,
right?
And they played basically, they did Suicidal Tendencies covers as Infectious Grooves,
right?
Like everything was like super funky, like it wasn't. Those are two different bands. And Mike Murr was in both bands, but so you've probably seen this, the isolated mic footage of like the different bands.
You know who
like the Courtney Love footage?
You know who is amazing isolated? That the dude doesn't get a lot of props, man.
Who?
Lane Staley from Alice in Chains.
But you know what I'm talking about? Where where she's like,
there's guys out there on YouTube right now that you could actually pull up their videos and watch them that are they pull apart the albums and they'll be like, you can hear the auto tune, like it's pretty rough, man. I mean, I can usually hear auto tune as well, just from being involved with that for so long, but yeah, man, I don't know, dude. I think part of that is I paid a boatload of cash one time to see Eric Clapton, and man, I wanted to see him rip and do Layla and shred and do all that cool stuff that I had heard all those years, and never got to see him. And then he decided he was going to do some freaking acoustic show, no band. He was just up there, and I paid big money for that, and I walked out.
So do you remember for a while Beck? He would bring a boombox on stage, and he would play Loser. He would play this
because he didn't want to do it,
and he'd be like, "If that's the song you came to see,
right,
you can leave now," which is like a total dick move.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand that where artists get. So I take that back. I can kind of see both sides. Because hear me out. If you're touring with a band, and a radio, I don't know why we got sidetracked on this, man.
No, we're all about it.
I guess it doesn't matter. So a radio beats to death a song, okay? And
Right.
they overplay it.
Yeah, like a.
And
yeah.
then you go to tour, and then I'm touring with the band, and I got to hear that song every freaking night. And me as a sound guy, if I'm like, dude, if I hear this song one more time, I can't imagine what the. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't imagine what the band is going through. The only thing I could think of, though, that gives them a little bit of is they wrote it. I think to me, if I wrote a song and I had 20,000 plus people singing back to me, that would be pretty freaking amazing.
Who did Fire and Rain?
James Taylor.
So I forget what movie it is, but there's a
I
scene.
hate that band. I hate James Taylor.
There's a scene in a movie. I think it's Jack Black where he says to James Taylor, they're at some kind of benefit. He goes, "Do you ever get tired of playing the same 5 songs for all this time, for all these decades?" And in mild manner, James Taylor goes, "I don't know. Do you ever get sick of blowjobs?" Like
that puts it in perspective.
Yeah. So apparently James Taylor likes playing the same songs.
Yeah, I mean, look,
Can you say that on YouTube?
Nope.
You got to give me a list of
I think
things
we're
I
already
can't
past
say.
that point.
You got to give me a list of things I can't say. That's all.
Let's put it this way: if you have to think about it, it's a no.
That's wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's the hardest part about doing the interviews with on the fly, like I did guerrilla style, basically at the convention.
Right.
Because I don't really have time to have discussions with people of, hey man, you can't really say X, Y, and Z, or try to da da da. Like, Baba knows he knows he's worked with me a couple times, and he's just started like going off, and I'm like, dude. There's actually a point in the Jesse Martinick video where I put this thing in here, and it's like it points at me, and it's like, this is me. You could see my face. I'm like, this is me hoping that YouTube doesn't take my channel down because he just is like, yeah.
I mean, it's hard to do interviews in an industry made up of people that are, our whole thing is like,
Yeah.
we don't give a fuck.
So the thing is, though, is that I also try to, steer the direction of the conversation to make sure I have interesting stuff. And I realize sometimes that during these interviews, I have a tendency to cut people, like to jump, not cut people off, but jump in, probably when I shouldn't. But I think it's my internal clock going. If we don't move in the right direction here, this is going to go off the rails. And I don't know, man. I think sometimes it makes me look like I'm too easy to jump in. Like, the old saying of, if you're already worried about the next thing that you're going to say, you're not really listening to what's being.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of where my mind went when I saw myself doing it, and I'm like, and I know that's not the case, but it's also, dude, this is going off the rails quick. If I don't pull it back, there's no coming back. You know what I mean? And I only, especially in situations like that where you're interviewing somebody and you only have one shot. Like, I can't. Full transparency, the audio for that I Hate Jason Sweet was completely jacked up. It took everything I had to recover that and clean it up and make it sound okay. It's not like I could go back to him and say, hey, man, could we redo that? Because that would be, A, you would look unprofessional, and B, now I'm wasting somebody's time. I have a fail-safe when I do these interviews. I have my audio that I have the lavaliers that we used to use. I still use those for interviews. And then I also bring this, which records audio. And both failed when I did that interview. I had a lot of problems, jumping back between live and recording. So, like, I have a separate kind of setup for recording and a separate kind of setup for live. And I had to keep jumping back and forth. And if you forget one piece of that, like, the chain is broken. And that's what happened. So, it's tough sometimes, man. It's not it's nobody else's problem but my own. So,
I thought the interview was excellent, man.
Yeah, man. And it was cool. I'm just saying, though, like, thank you for saying that. But it was, and thank you for the people that did watch it. I appreciate you all much.
Thank you, Cleveland. We love you all.
It's just hard sometimes when you have like situations like that where you got to clean it up because it you know, like that took way longer than it should have.
I mean, even the footage that you showed where me and the other person went up to the Jersey convention. Like I was aware during some of the interviews that they were playing Black Sabbath in the background.
Yeah.
And I was like, Buck's gonna have to remove this, right?
Yeah.
Is there? I mean,
thankfully, I bought that. I bought the version of DaVinci Resolve where I can remove background. I mean, matter of fact, you know, I'm editing the Jesse Martinick video now. You wouldn't know it, but halfway through that, they started doing the announcements for the awards for the last night of the show and stuff like that. So it was, you know, I had to clean all that up and remove that. But look, man, it is what it is. And especially, look, not everything is going to be this perfect environment.
absolutely.
And I don't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but there was a guy that I had met at Reno. He's friends with Pim. He tried to actually push a show for Travel Channel, and I'll find it and I'll give you guys clips of it next week, where he was doing like adventure tattooing. So like he would climb Mount Kilimanjaro and tattoo somebody, or he would dive in the Adriatic Sea and tattoo somebody. And he was a super cool dude. Like he was like, what do you call those people that are into, like they're adrenaline junkie? You know what I mean? He's like one of those guys, but he's also a tattoo artist. So he tried to combine the two things to make, and he went through like, I guess 4 different hoops with Discovery Channel, and on the last hoop that he had to go to get it to be a go for the show, they were like, now we're going a different route. I was like, man, to have it that close to the goal and then to get clipped like that, that's tough.
So it's 7.
Yeah, we're going to wrap this up.
So, but before we do, can you show the clip from Once We're Warriors? Because I want to talk something about this.
Yeah. I'm sure people that are watching right now don't mind a little overtime.
So the reason I wanted to bring up Once We're Warriors is some of you guys will remember the time when if you were into tattooing and you found anything about tattooing, an advertisement, a comic strip, a movie, like in a way you collected, because it was still such an outsider art that any sort of reference to it was cherished at one point. And Once We're Warriors was one of the first, maybe not one of the first, but it was a movie where like, even though there's no real heavy scenes that you can point to, the Maori tattooing is constant. You see Maori tattooing constantly in the film. It's pretty consistent because they're all Maori
People.
Yeah, and you know it's sort of about the mongrel mob and it was like for tattooers, especially tattooers that were into tribal tattooing, that was a big movie because you know it was one of the movies where we were really represented.
Right. Yeah, we can go ahead and play this clip. We tried to get it.
Yeah, this is one of the scenes where the tattooing is most
Have a drink.
represented.
Yeah, we're gonna mute it just in case, because so right there, boom. Honestly, when I first saw this, I thought it was Tattoo Tony at first. His is different, but yeah, when you see old pictures of Tattoo Tony when he's thinner, it kind of looks like a man. This is a good pull, though. I didn't know about this movie.
So, like, if the movie's to be believed, sort of like the Maori underworld,
Okay.
is really about rock and roll and motorcycles. It's like they're
Seems
based.
a little far fetched, but
They're like bikers.
yeah,
you know what I mean?
that seems a little far fetched.
No, I mean, but if you look up like the mongrel mob or any of the Maori,
Tribal clubs.
well, yeah, motorcycle clubs.
Yeah, so we have here in the United States we have Red Rum.
Right. But they're I mean they're
You have to be 100%
Native American.
or not 100%. You have to have a certain percentage of Native American in you.
So I mean they're
From what I understand, please don't come at me. I'm not 100% sure about that.
yeah, I mean we're being respectful.
Yeah. But you know how that world is.
So yeah, they're basically it was just a movie about a bunch of Maori bikers that were all tattooed and
Right on.
yeah.
We hope you dug the episode tonight, man. We're gonna try to do this, I think, once a month. Maybe next time we'll actually pull a movie that's more tattoo oriented instead of just clips of people that have tattoos, like we did the Zeke Owens. There's other ones out there that we could definitely do. We could also go through some of the episodes on Vice. I think they would be pretty
Eastern
worthy.
Promises, man.
Yeah, man, and that was on that freaking 10 that I had, and I deleted it by accident.
So the videos where they talk about how authentic is it, where they have like
Yeah.
So there actually is a guy that was part of the Russian mob, and he talks about the John Wick movie, and he talks about Eastern Promises, and he says the stuff in Eastern Promises is super authentic.
So they had to have somebody that they're bouncing it off of to say, hey, how accurate.
Yeah.
That's, to me, man, I think that when you have movies like that bring a little extra authenticity to it, just like you hear mobsters talking about like The Godfather, like what was authentic about that and what wasn't. And, they really did have mob people working for that movie. Man, why can't I think of the dude's name? The big
Puzo?
dude. Yeah, no, the big
writer?
dude that gets killed in the movie.
Sonny Corleone?
No, the big dude. He was a big, heavy-set dude.
Oh, Luca Brasi.
Yeah, he was actually a legit mobster. He made it in that movie because they couldn't get anybody to fill that part. Just like the movie Casino, they had a part of. So the dude Joe Pesci played, they had the dude from his crew was the artistic person behind that movie. And they got to the scene where at the end they're like tracking all the guys down from all over, right? And they find the old dude down in Brazil or Rio de Janeiro or whatever. The guy that actually unalives the old dude in that movie is the guy. He was given details for every scene, and they got to that scene, and he was like, "That's not how it was done." And Scorsese,
allegedly, that's
no,
but
that dude somehow he got off on almost like 90% of his charges for turning.
Wow.
So he can talk about that stuff from a legitimate standpoint and say, "Hey, this is what happened." So, but in that movie though, he yelled at Scorsese. He's like, "That's not how it was," and he was like, "Fine, then you do it." So the scene is actually, how crazy is that?
So remember did you like The Sopranos?
Yeah.
So remember the little storyline in The Sopranos where Jon Favreau runs into Chris Moltisanti?
Yeah.
And Chris sort of shows off by telling him some stories?
Yeah.
And then Favreau says he's going to put that stuff in a movie?
Yeah.
And Chris is like, if you put that in the movie, I'm a dead man.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so for The Godfather, they actually had Buffalino from New York, from Buffalo, New York. The Buffalino family was who was the main character? The old man,
Don Corleone.
Well, who was the actor?
Marlon Brando.
Right. Okay. So Marlon Brando was calling the Buffalino dude on the phone to kind of mimic his voice and stuff like that. Like that was the whole. Yeah, man. There's all kinds of twists and turns like that. So I don't know how we got on this subject, man.
Excellent book, by the way. If you want to read like a good, well-written book, The Godfather is an excellent book.
Mike Irons said Chopper biopic.
Oh yeah, Chopper.
Yeah.
The most violent criminal in Australia? Was Chopper from Australia?
I think so. Anyway, Have a safe week, everybody. Thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us tonight. Hopefully we gave you a little bit of relief from the drama that's going on out there in the world.
Everybody
stay safe. And
stay safe. And if you have loved ones that are involved in any kind of nonsense, we're sending them good wishes.
Vibes.
Yeah,
there
good vibes.
So peace out. We'll catch you all next week. And don't forget, keep your eye open for the Jesse